Hello, welcome LinkedIn community and friends. Also, hello to our my Twitter followers. Here's a topic that's been on my mind recently. There's a fair amount of posts on micromanagement, but not nearly as many posts on active management. So I thought I'd share a few thoughts from experience. No scientific study here, but it does seem to me that there is a fair amount of discussion just looking at LinkedIn, for example. There's plenty of articles on micromanagement, on how it's a complete drain and on your staff and your people, which is totally true. And also, higher grade people, let them do their thing. This is an interesting post from Leadership First. Micromanagement is a complete waste of time. It sucks the life out of employees, fosters anxiety, creates high stress work environment, and select the right people, give them room to get on with their job. So while this is true, I also think that what's missing is the other side of the story. And that is that micromanagement, in my experience, again, this is not a scientific study, but I've had 30 years. I've seen far less of this, even though it gets a lot of attention. And I also think what gets a lot of attention is just hire great people, let them do what they're going to do, which I really disagree with. Like that, my experience does not in any way point to that being good leadership. In fact, here I think Franklin Covey sums it up well, which is when goals and measures are clear, leaders don't need to micromanage. What's missing often are the goals, the follow up, and the good management. That seems to be far more missing in our day to day leadership teams than it is the micromanager. Again, we have different experiences. This is just my experience and by the people that I've managed, because I want to talk about what A players look for. What do A players look for in a particularly good manager? So let's just look at the scale. Little to no management isn't good. That is not a good situation, just like micromanagement, which we said. Being involved with someone at every single step, at every single email, and following up and course correcting them, giving them, this constant, feedback, and not letting them have space to execute, imagine, test, try, and achieve the goals. These are both extremes are not good. But I think what's really the bigger opportunity is active management, this active management, which is in the sweet spot. And if you notice, I put it towards leaning not just in the middle, but towards more management versus less management. So what does that mean? What does that mean? It means that you do make sure that there are clear goals, that there are milestones, especially if the goals are further out that you can measure, that there is, while not micromanagement, continuous feedback. I saw your work. Have you thought about these few things? Here's a few thoughts to consider next time, because typically you're an expert, right? That's typically the case. You're an expert managing a group of people in which you have really good thoughts on how to improve things. And you don't want to wait for some future meeting or quarterly or annual review. It is continuous at the right time. Along with that is making sure that there's positive feedback. So the positive feedback should clearly outnumber the negative feedback or constructive criticism or constructive feedback along the way. So when you see things going well, get on it right then. Awesome job. And explain why it's good. I see that you did A, B, C, and D. Excellent. You're reinforcing those good things. Then you've earned that credibility and trust to say, okay, I saw this. Here's two really good things. Consider this for A, B, and C on these other items, right? Now you're in a really good loop where you have a good person on your team who is doing a good job. They're being reinforced on what's good, and you've earned their trust to slide in the feedback to help them get better. Keep your one-on-ones. Look, this goes to me. This feedback is all about reminding me, keep your one-on-ones. This is a place where you reprioritize, review their goals, check in on their milestones, and you get to listen. You get to listen to how are they doing. This is not a working session. One-on-ones are not working. They're not review sessions for work. You need to keep those meetings separate. One-on-ones are about how are we doing and what priorities have changed? How are we doing against milestones? What are the results? And always have personal time built in there to say, how are you doing? Are you feeling stressed? Are you overworked? Are you on track? Do you need more time? How can I help you become more successful? Always explain the strategy. So many folks work in a vacuum. Your job as the manager, the supervisor, the leader, it doesn't matter the title and role, is to provide the context. Look, we're going in this direction. These are the things that are important, and these things relate to what you're doing. You fit in here. These things and these things add up to this, which will add up to that. And they feel like they're a part of something bigger than themselves. And then priorities change. That's the world we live in. This is what's normal. People think, well, they're changing priorities. Yeah, that does happen. Not all priorities, but things come up. You need to make an adjustment. When you have a one-on-one and you have time, you can explain the priority in this area has changed. We were going to go down this first and then get back to that. This is why. This is why. This strategy is intact. We're still going in this direction. We're going to change course to do this and then this. Therefore, this is the priority. I'd like you to shift and move in this direction. This is active management. It's not micromanagement, but this kind of management will set up your team members to be far more successful. They'll know what they're doing, why they're doing it. They'll be prepared to make changes when they need to be. They'll have positive reinforcement along the way, and they'll be open to the feedback you have to get them better. One of the biggest things I've experienced over the past 30 years managing people and in just research, it's nothing you can follow. I enjoy following people who have had outrageous success. What do the best of the best do? And there's no doubt in my mind, every A player that I've managed and these people with extraordinary success, they want to be managed. They demand to be managed. They are looking for coaching all the time. Just look at this one quote. You can read about so many excellent people who have achieved great success. Top performers want active management. In fact, they want the most management. Great quote here. Coach of Tom Brady. One of the most difficult jobs you can have is coaching Tom Brady because he wants to be coached. You coach him every single day, every minute of the day, all year round because he's all football. See, he's obsessed with being great. And when you're obsessed or interested in being excellent, you seek coaching, you want time from your manager, you want special projects, you want a mentor, you want feedback on that presentation. The best want active management. In fact, they'll demand more time than you may even be able to give. So just keep that in mind, because if someone isn't interested in being actively managed or coached, that's a yellow flag, if not a red flag. So don't micromanage, but you do want to be an active manager. So with that, that's just a few thoughts. It's been on my mind for a while. It's a good reminder for me personally to make sure that I'm investing enough time as a good manager doing these things myself. And I hope this helps you reframe, rethink, and remind you to, while not go being active, you don't want to be a micromanager. You also don't want to be so hands-on. You want to be an active manager, and your A players deserve even more attention, not less. So with that, have a great day.